Today, we're going to talk about what impatience really is and how you can change it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Amanda here from createyourfuture.co. So today we're going to be talking about what impatience really is and what you can do when you're feeling impatient to get past it. So if you haven't already subscribed, definitely subscribe, hit the bell icon below because I do put out new videos every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. Each one of them with the intention that you're going to be able to create something wonderful in your life. So, impatience. Okay. Impatience is triggered when we have a goal and we realize it's going to cost us more than what we thought to reach it. Okay. So whether that cost is in, basically ability to pay attention to other things or time or, anything like that, like it's taking away from other things and, it's just not moving. So basically we get impatient when we decide we have a goal and there are things in our way stopping us from getting there. Okay. And we realize that it's going to take us to more than what we thought it would to get there. So a really good example of that is, let's say, for instance, I have the goal of going out on Friday night, okay, with this guy. Okay. And all of a sudden, I'm intending that this guy phoned me and asked me out on a date and he's not doing it. And a Friday passes and then another Friday passes and then another Friday passes. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, 5 Fridays have passed and this guy hasn't asked me out yet. I'm going to definitely feel impatient. Okay. So that's where impatience comes from. Okay. So I wanted it done this Friday, but guess what? We are 5 months of Fridays down the road and nothing's happened. So how do we deal with impatience? Okay. So what we want to first take a look at with impatience is we want to review our goal. Okay. And when we review our goal, we either want to say, look at the first one is, do we want to abandon the goal? Okay. That's always a possibility that you can change your mind and try to manifest something else. Totally fine. The other thing that you may want to do is to modify your goal. Okay. So let's say, for instance, that this person I want to ask me out on a date on Friday is actually one of my Facebook friends. Okay. So what I actually maybe want to do is modify my goal to it just being that we start chatting on Facebook. He starts commenting on my stuff. He starts liking my posts. Okay. So now if I modify to make my goal a little bit closer to something that's more believable in my mind to start happening, then that's actually going to dissolve my impatience. Okay. The next thing you want to do, okay, once you review your goal, is ask yourself, what's stopping me from reaching my goal? Okay, so let's go with this with my Facebook friend that I want to ask me out. Okay, he's not asking me out. What's stopping me from reaching that goal? Well, I don't know if he even likes me. Oh, okay. So now, if I sit and say, well, I'm not even sure if he really likes me, but I intend that he asks me out on Friday, do you see where the frustration and the impatience is going to start to happen? I'm not even sure if he even likes me. Okay. So, when we want to say, well, now am I blaming, and putting it on him that, there's this unknown factor that stops me from getting asked out. Okay. Now, is that really out of my control? Absolutely not. I can easily intend that he does like me. Okay. Now, if we can't get to that point of intending that he actually does like me, then if we really look at step 1 again, modifying your goal, one thing that you can create to show you that he is interested and likes you is just chatting on, say, Facebook, starting up a conversation, having, whenever you write and comment on somebody's stuff, he's like commenting, haha, that's funny. You're so cute. Right. And then that would start getting you to take to believe that this person's interested in you. And once you start creating that, it's going to be more believable that he's going to ask you out because he's like, oh, we've had such a great time on Facebook. You're awesome. Why don't we go out on Friday night? Sure. Sounds good. Okay. So that's how we want to deal with impatience. The bottom line is to take a look and say, do I need to modify my goal? Okay. What do I need to change about my goal? What's stopping me from getting my goal? Okay. And if what's stopping you from getting your goal is that, you're not sure if he likes you, create the intention that he likes you, and then create little mini goals that, yeah, you know what, he does like me because I intend for him to message me or just to talk with me or to like my posts or to laugh at my jokes that I put online, or to always check out my Instagram stories. Start building evidence for yourself through your intentions that this is where it's going to end up going. Okay. So, yeah, recap on impatience. Impatience is triggered when we have a goal and we realize it's going to cost us more to get it. Okay. So, the first thing to always do is to review your goal, modify it. I mean, there's nothing wrong either with scrapping a goal. I've scrapped many goals in the past and put them on the back burner, and I'm ready to go at them when I decide that, I'm inspired and motivated to do so. Now, if you are still inspired and motivated to do so with your goal, then modify it. Okay. So even though the big ticket item's getting married, okay, but you're not talking right now and you're having a hard time even getting the first date, move it down to we're talking, we're friends, chunk down your goal so you reach it a lot quicker. There'll be I get zero impatience because I make my goals so incredibly small, little baby steps. And every time I reach my goal, I'm like, yes. And then, oh, next goal, next goal. So like, for instance, in my relationship, I started with just talking and I intended that he would come to all the networking events I was at, and he did. And I was like, oh, wow, this guy's like following me around. Then I was like, okay, well, I intend we go on a date. And then we went out on a date. And then I intended we would do it again. And we would talk during the week. And then we did. And then all of a sudden we were seeing each other all the time and talking all the time. I intended he would come over every day. Then he did. Then I was like, well, wait a minute, you're never leaving. We might as well live together. And then we did. So take your goals down a little bit. Make them easier to obtain. Once you have a goal that's easier to obtain, then you can identify what's in there stopping you from reaching your goal. And whatever you list for what's stopping you from reaching your goal, change those into intentions and create them as a goal. So just by saying, well, I intend for Buddy to ask me out on a date. And then it's like, well, he's not doing it. Why? Well, because I don't know if he likes me. Well, I intend for him to show me he likes me by chatting with me on Facebook. Okay. And then once you guys start talking, and then you're like, wait a minute, this guy kind of likes me. I intend to tell him to tell me that I'm funny in one of those conversations. And then I intend for him to say, hey, we've had a great time. Why don't we go out on Friday in one of those conversations? Right. Then you finally go out. And then at that point, you're like, hey, we went out. We had a great time. I intend for him to call me tomorrow and tell me he had a great time. Then he does that. And he does that. Okay. So yeah, that's how we deal with impatience. And remember, at the end of the day, the only person you're waiting for is you. And what you're waiting for is for you to be 100% on board and to be taking all of those factors that are listed in your head as unknown and things that are stopping you from reaching your goal and changing them into positive intentions and changing them into things that you can see, hear, and feel in your reality to prove to yourself that that is going to happen. Because the only person that needs to believe that anything is possible in your life is you. And you're the only one that can convince yourself of that. But of course, you can intend that other people, show up to help you, right? There's nothing wrong with intending someone tells you that they like you to help you convince yourself that they like you, right? Like, that's what everything is there for. You get to create what you want in your reality. Now, I know each and every one of you guys can do this, make your goals reachable, obtainable, make them smaller, because the smaller they are, the better you're going to feel when you reach them. And you're going to feel successful because you're going to be like, check, check, check. I write to-do lists all the time. I even write stuff on the to-do list that I've already done just so I can check it off. And it feels good. I'm like, sweet, I'm on a roll. I'm getting this done. You want to set yourself up for success, not failure. Okay. So be easy on yourself and create the goals really easily obtainable. And then pretty soon you get on a roll and you start creating the story that, yeah, you know what? I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I do it all the time. I always reach my goals. Okay. Just because, a goal is a small one doesn't mean that you can't be proud of reaching it. That's the thing, little pieces, end up to the bigger puzzle. Right. And so that's how I deal with impatience. I just make my goals a lot smaller and a lot more obtainable. And all of those little tiny goals lead up to the big goal. And I feel good every step of the way because I feel accomplished every step of the way, because the opposite of feeling impatient is actually feeling accomplished, okay? Not patient, accomplished, because impatience comes from having a goal and realizing we're not going to reach it unless, because it's going to cost us more than what we bargained for it to actually cost us. So, you know, make the goals a bit smaller, and that'll eliminate feelings of impatience. Okay, that's my video for today. Thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. You guys are all absolutely amazing, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.